Well, maybe let's pull the picks and bans up. Let's see if they go with a traditional draft or if Mouse sticks to their guns. And whether or not they win, you got to give them some credit for sticking to their guns and playing what it is that they feel like they want to play. But maybe the adjustment needs to come through at some point, Graham, and they gotta look at this.
There's a classic saying: if it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's broke, fix it. That could also work too, right? Like
I think that's good. That's a good saying.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If it's broke, fix it. So maybe just try fixing it by going back to standard.
Just playing some standards. I can't even really go back to standard, can they?
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's been like half a year still.
Yeah, when last time they played something normal. But Rival already going to ban away the Achilles again. We don't always see that from the first pick phase, but you don't want to leave too many good things open or else your second pick can take 2 in a row. So try and take some away even from the first pick selection.
Well, you get a lot of options available being the first pick too. I mean, in that scenario, they had the Janus available. They also had the Nemesis up as well.
Yeah.
Plenty of options for them if they want to go those sort of routes. But then it does mean that Mouse get 2 responses. They're not going to go for the ones that I probably would have looked at here, but hey.
There's still a lot of strong picks up. If they want to prioritize the jungle, Donji, Serket still available. If they want to prioritize mid, we still have like some really strong mages that are available too, but they're going to go with Chronos and Cerberus. Going to take away Cerberus, one of those frontliners, and Chronos, who can be really strong late.
And the Harry's coming out again for Rival. No
MVP!
Why not? You might as well just keep it going. He got MVP on it. He's been playing it a lot so far, and he's going to get a buff next week for them to be able to play on. Yeah.
That's right. And personally, I don't know how much the buff's going to change it strategy-wise. It's sort of like for those edge where if you blink in, they're just around the wall and you should have got them, but you couldn't. It relieves that. That's my take on it.
Sure. I'm kind of the same way on it, but I still think he's going to be strong.
Yeah.
Is that a Raw this time, or are we being tried? Is that new War? Oh, it's real.
No, new War was banned, yeah.
Just thought I'd check.
Just want to make sure. Nemesis is going to be the selection for Rival, which we just saw iceice get to play very well, so we'll see how well that ends up going for them. But it is really going to be a Raw for them, so likely Raw in the mid. Chronos going to be an actual hunter for them over in the duo lane.
Cerberus is definitely going solo, though. I don't see that changing anywhere whatsoever. Cerberus more than likely just in the solo lane. Although, in the support role against Ares early on, if you get the Flames of Death going from Cerberus's mouth, like that does a lot of damage in the early game.
It really does. I think it takes 7 times.
And if Ares walks at you and goes chain, you're like, fine, burn. And then Ares could be hot and bothered himself.
Artemis is going to be taken away. They do not want vote on that pick yet again. And now the Fafnir coming out. Graham, I think it might be a real Guardian being played by Dardez.
It's going solo. It's going solo.
Well, then he'll play Cerberus. Either one's fine.
Or it's Cherryo in the jungle. It's just not possible. I just don't see it happening that we're going to see a proper spot. I'm really excited about that, though, to see how they play. They're not going to have the Rama, which I would have loved to have seen go alongside this. They've got the Chronos already, so it's not a problem.
I mean, I'm happy that they're on the Fafnir, but yet again, Rival look very comfortable with their draft. Chulainn going to be the selection for them, very likely going over to Deathwalker, and then Ram going to be for vote, as Camazotz locks in for Mouse.
It's Chronos jungle, isn't it? This must be it, Chronos jungle.
No, that can't be, Graham. No. Don't say that.
No. I can't be lucky enough to have them actually draft a proper composition. That's not possible. I don't think they're playing about it all day. We'll see, though. Camazotz in the jungle does bring different things, not really ridiculous gank potential. He's just got decent pressure and decent staying power in the jungle, which can help against the likes of a Nemesis.
He's one of the ones that needs to be a little bit more out of position than anything else. Can, though, dive with that bat out of hell. He's very safe up there and still doing that return damage. So now that we've seen them both, you still going with Rival, or maybe Mouse kind of swayed you a little bit?
I like FP.
Sure, so that means you're voting
going Rival.
Oh. Rival. That's where your FP is, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're all voting in the season ticket, but let's go ahead and let Tom and Toli take it away.
Where?
Right here. Thanks a lot, John and Hinduman. Game number 1 was interesting. This time around, Mouse, you heard the guys at the desk kind of, surprised that Dardez is bringing out something more traditional. But this is why I really like Dardez, is that his identity is his identity. It's not weird or standard. It's just his identity.
It works out for him, and not only himself, but his dual lane partner, Jermain. They've been known to run this kind of, not necessarily jank, but strong for what works for them. They kind of surprised their opposition, but honestly, in the SPL here, it's no longer a surprise. Everything that they've done has been seen before, and it's getting countered pretty hard.
For sure. This time around, Nika's going to be playing in the solo Cherryo. We'll have that Zotz and BigManTingz on another traditional mage. Hinduman was very happy to see BigManTingz on these mages. He's been bringing some of the weird stuff into the middle lane, but able to make the impact with the Ra, I think, a little bit better here. we'll see if Mousesports can bounce back after game number 1.
I love the composition from Mousesports because it also kind of takes some options away from Rival. Now, Janus was first picked from Rival over the Raw, so that wasn't necessarily targeting out Wlfy since his pick was already there, but it gives more of a durable team fight for Mousesports, having the sustain for this Raw, being able to really get in and out of action, and Cherryo is definitely going to be relying on that because he's always going to be hyper aggressive on this Camazotz.
Yeah, again, we see Jermain on the Chronos with Fafnir this time around. And again, I like this pick. I think that you can play Chronos both styles. You can play that passive, see you at 60 minutes Chronos, or you can be very, very aggressive. Chronos at level 3, 4 can really bring the pain. Time stop, time rift, couple of basics, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, he can swing both ways, and I think the later this game goes, the better it'll be, because Dardez is going to have the coerce, and that the late game attack speed damage from Jermain's Chronos is just going to be swinging.
And that low cooldown on Time Rift is really important as well. You know, because you got to figure out at the beginning of the game which way you're going to go. You know, does Jermain want to be aggressive or not? And these first couple of waves really dictate which way Jermain swings.
Callus still going to be aggressive on the air. He's missing the chains, unfortunately. I don't think Jermain is going to fall into the trap here yet again this time around. Vote not going for the Aegis, going for the purification beads. Wants to try to make sure that he's going to get out of the lockdown from Dardez that has that double stun once he transforms between the jump and the hammer.
Yeah, it's going to be able to have some of the lockdown that they were lacking last time around. Wlfy here on the Janus. Another mid laner that has really been impressive this year. The Janus has looked really good from Wlfy so far. I really hope to see him continue that. Vote in some trouble here. And the long-range stun not going to find the Hunter. Instead, we'll just find Callus. And so a little bit of shared poke against Team Rival's duo lane.
After this next upcoming wave, I believe both of these duo laners are going to start getting closer to level 3. Those chains are going to be so impactful. Now, missing that one from that far away, a little interesting. Normally as Ares, what you want to do is get a little bit closer to land the chains, but hindsight's 20/20, because if you get closer to Jermain's Chronos to hit your chains, you're going to get closer for him to hit his time stop.
And time stop up close when you shotgun somebody, it's impossible to miss. It's time stop is what, 2.5 body sizes?
It's pretty big, honestly. You would have to do some unbelievable juking. Like, the best juker, I think, in all of SPL is definitely Aurora.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Aurora would be able to find a way somehow to juke out time stop.
Well, here's the dash forward. The Ram staying aggressive. Time stop and the time rift. So this time, Mousesports going to lose this battle here on the left side.
Now with Ares level 3, he also has Blink. Could easily be a kill opportunity with all the gold left over between not picking up a tier 1 item after Guardian's Blessing, invested into 4 health potions. He actually pops one now because he's going to be aggressive here. He has one ticking still, and with him being full health, he needs to take damage to make it useful.
Yeah.
Why is he not going in? Like, I don't get it. He's wasting a health pot. There you go.
Yeah, he's looking for the engagement. And Jermain a little bit far back because he saw what we saw.
Yeah.
He had the same exact information. He heard the sound cue, and he's like, oh, this guy's full HP with a health pot?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to attack me.
No one in their right mind uses a health potion at 90% health or above unless they anticipate of trying to take all that damage. And when you're in the laning phase, the better you use your potions and the longer you sustain, like, the more of a just straight up advantage you'll get. But BigManTingz making the rotation, respecting the purple buff invade.
Well, Jermain is stuck dealing with the wave, so BigManTingz is going to come over here. Dardez actually takes care of business by himself, but Wlfy with the ultimate is going to send Jermain back to base with help from the jungler. BigManTingz fights back and takes care of the Hunter.
But iceicebaby took out Jermain before that kill happened onto Vote. So first blood bounty going to the Nemesis jungle.
Team Rival wind up picking up the first blood, but Mousesports, very important. They actually get the return kill right there, making sure that Vote is just as put down as Jermain is on the Chronos.
Both hunters falling makes it, even Stevens for both of them. That's one of the worst things as a hunter, when you die and the enemy hunter still lives, so now they're just kind of out farming you because you have to wait to revive, and then you have to travel all the way back to the lane. And then there's that weird limbo mode. It's like, oh, okay, do I go to the wave or do I go for these back harpies?
Back harpy.
If I go for those back harpies, I'm going to miss like 3 melee minions. It's just the worst position to be in.
And you really got to sit there and do the math of like, all right, what is it, 26 gold per minion, and then I got to look at the backhands.
It's like that Hangover meme with the GIF where you're just calculating all the different possibilities.
Which one is that? Can you explain it, Ryan?
This is where I walk out.
I wish you could see Anatolia's face right now. The other day I got Ryan. We were at dinner actually, and Ryan was explaining the motorcycle guy meme.
The motorcycle guy meme?
You know the popular one right now where it's the two.
Oh, the motorcycle shop meme.
Yeah. And Ryan, he was like acting out the guys and like, and Ryan. Oh man. Aggro is.
I can see him doing that.
Aggro's one of a kind.
That's a totally aggro thing to do.
Yeah, he's a great guy. That said, Aggro, if you're listening, you suck.
You fat egg.
Reviving that one. 5 minutes into this one, surprisingly tied up here. Mousesports consistently find themselves behind the 8 ball, but this time around, able to keep things going against Team Rival. Very, 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 very early in the game, I understand that, but Rival has found early victories, and Mouse have found early deficits.
And with the advantages and victories that Rival get in the early game, they don't relinquish them, ever. They find other ways to keep the pressure on and never releasing that chokehold onto Mousesports' neck, and finding the wraparound is Deathwalker and iceicebaby onto Cherryo. He might have to ulti here.
Yeah, he's going to go right up into the sky as soon as Kala shows up, tossing out those chains. So the wings already used by Cherryo here. Mousesports will not have the availability of their jungler to tower dive in the next couple of minutes.
Has the beats available, still is Cherryo. Very short distances is Devour jump, so it's definitely important to know when you're in that oh no danger zone moment that you just have to use your ultimate bat out of hell to cover like 3,000 miles.
That many?
You know, on a good day, it's normally only 500 miles.
I mean, I'd walk that.
Yeah, I would walk it too.
Kala's gonna walk away very casually. Wlfy did use the ultimate, but Kala didn't even walk through the portal for fun. He just looked at him and went, I don't need that, man.
That's
just
true.
Walked away.
He walked 500 more.
A couple of steps ahead, right there. You know, I love the story of Kala's here. Ooh, Cherryo disconnected, likely to see a pause. There it is. Yeah, we'll take a brief reprieve from the action as Cherryo gets everything situated and Mouse pauses real quick. But I've always liked the story of Khalis. The first time we saw Khalis on the pro stage was as a substitute. He was actually subbing in for Trickstank over there when Paradigm was playing. I believe that was Valencia.
No, it was actually Sweden. Yes,
right.
DreamHack Sweden. Back in Season 3. Definitely had a similar playstyle. Had similar God Pool as well. So it was a very easy fit into that.
Yeah, and watching him, what was really fun, and I love bringing sort of these stories because this is the side that we don't really get to see at home. We were all hanging out in the little cafeteria, and the game Othello. It's very similar to Go, which is a very strategic game, and Khalis beat every single opponent. And I think that there's something to be said. I mean, when you talk about Go, this is a game that, you know, the Chinese warlords and emperors used to play to boost their battlefield prowess. I think it goes to say something that Khalis understands a little bit of the strategy when you look at that world.
I believe that he's normally the one making the calls in the battleground here. Normally that's either the jungle or the support's position, since they're always in the front line. They have to know when's the right timing to go in, and now is the time for Khalis.
Oh, big damage on top of that one, and Dardez goes down nice and easy. Here comes help from Cherryo, trying to get a return kill, but the portal's going to save the Janus. BigManTingz shows up to sort of shove away,
ultimate.
But again, here comes Rival.
Not finding the through space in time, but up in the sky is Vo, really respecting the backline. Jermain will disengage instead, using the barely last second remaining on through space and time. Didn't even fire, I believe, shots 2 and 3 of the Rom snipes.
Yeah, just tried to, man. Again, Team Rival wiggle out of a scary situation.
That's all these little nuances, because as a DPS hunter, your role and job is to do damage.
That's it.
But sometimes in competitive play, that might not always be the best course of action in the heat of a moment. Respecting the opposite end attack power, he's like, okay, we're getting out DPS'd here. I'm not even going to find this kill either way. Let me just go ahead and cancel 66% of my ultimate to ensure my safety by taking the last second of this Janus portal.
There's no shame in the retreat, and something I've been telling my raiders forever, you do 0 DPS while dead.
That's true.
So making sure you stay alive, the most important point for Vote right there. Love his ability to go ahead and scurry out of the way. Very close game here as we approach 10 minutes. Just about 1,000 gold separating our teams. Right side, Deathwalker has been repeatedly proxying behind this tier 1 tower and repeatedly looking for the blue buff as well with help of iceicebaby.
That's what you can normally get away with against a Guardian, especially even against Cerberus there. Now, Cerberus can do a lot of return damage on you, but that's only when you max out Ghastly Breath.
You say that a decent amount, totally, that you can sort of get away with some of these things about against the Guardians. Why is that so against the Guardians specifically?
So the Guardians need a little bit of items to help them get the base damage up there, or the boosted damage out there, the scaling. But in the early game, it takes 2 abilities for a Guardian to really be impactful, except Ymir. Ymir can do a lot of damage with just his Ice Carpet. But for Nika Cerberus, he needs the Ghastly Breath being a higher level so he can amplify the Paralyzing Spit, which is a very difficult ability to hit. And also by proxying, not only are you forcing Nika to now deal with you, he's going to be losing some of the wave under his tower if he's spending the time between that tier 1, tier 2. And it could also bait out more of Mousesports members to make that rotation to deal with the solo lane and not the opposite side.
Makes a lot of sense. You need both of those abilities. I think that was the biggest point to bring home. And Cherryo right now going to be chased home. Sprint is activated. Team Rival really want this. I don't know if they want to dive the tower this early, though.
No, definitely not against the Camazotz that still has the ultimate, but forced into the Purification Beads, it could allow iceicebaby an offensive move here. He will drop the ward. He has the timer of the speed buff, and it's coming up in about 10 to 15 seconds.
And it looks like he put himself in a bad spot, but his teammates are around the corner.
What was that heal coming out of BigManTingz on the front side? Nobody even from Mousesports was right around that corner. Dardez going to jump over the unstable vortex.
That's the battle heal.
That's true.
No, realistically, I mean, it's a heal, but it still does damage. That's a zoning ability, no?
That's true, but there was just nobody there at the first place. The first chain connecting onto Dardez, second one as well, slowed from the threshold. There's a lot of damage onto the Fafnir.
But here comes the rest of the team. Fafnir going to get pulled, and BigManTingz takes care of Chulainn with the return ultimate.
Oh, through space and time, actually connects onto Cherryo and not being able to survive without the ultimate, which was used. But Wlfy's in a lot of trouble. Hold that thought. Still had a portal available.
Right through the wall. No problem for the God of Doors right there. But I love BigManTingz. He just, you're going to use the ultimate for the CC immunity. Aim it at the big guy.
That's true.
Just, that's the best way to deal with the Ares. Kill him.
I thought for a second that he would kind of turn onto Dardez and try to do the Hail Mary play, considering how low that the Fafnir was. But recognizing that there was still some rival jerseys next to him, Wlfy made the better, consistent play there, focusing out this Camazotz that didn't have an ultimate, didn't have beads, and not many safe options to escape.
So now the Gold Fury is likely to be the next objective here. But Team Rival doesn't really have the opening. I think they need to find at least one pick. I'd like to see it be BigManTingz.
It's also a waiting game for Rival. There are 3 members that you have to look at is Wlfy, Chulainn, and Vote. They're still stacking their items. It's not going to be for a little bit of time before they decide to go for the Gold Fury, unless, like you said, they get 2 to 3 free picks.
And right now, I would like to see Team Rival prioritize looking for BigManTingz. A lot of times during these slow points in a Smite game, what teams have is sort of an unofficial shopping list. Where they're like, we want to get a pick here, we want to get the Gold Fury, we want to go ahead and get the red buff invade. Now we have to make those things happen by making multiple plays, etc. But number 1 on Rival's list, I think, should be BigManTingz. Jermain is number 1 right now, chained up, flamed up, but it looks like he's going to be able to walk away from there. BigManTingz is the only one on Mousesports that's actually ahead or even relevant right now. He's about a full level above Wlfy. And I think you got to stop that before it gets out of control.
I mean, you're not really going to stop the safe farming coming out of Raw. Deathwalker looking for that blue buff respawn timer. But yeah, the Raw will safely clear the wave.
But you can stop dying to it.
Sure. He did. Okay, so Callus definitely made a very aggressive play onto Dardez. Almost killed him. Needed a little bit more oomph from his teammates to find it. But it was also the clutch play from BigManTingz. Because of how slow you are during the no escape, it was easy pickings for Big Man.
Team Rival looking for the Pyromancer. Cherryo takes to the sky, gets chained up, but he's generally good. BigManTingz tosses the ultimate, but Wlfy's is much bigger. Oh, he hit Cherryo on the back line, comes through the wall, tosses the unstable, and he's going to cut down BMT to a sliver of health points. And Mousesports has to sort of retreat, but they're healthy enough to make sure that Rival doesn't go for the Gold Fury.
iceicebaby double dashed away. Still has Blink if he needed to escape there. Almost in trouble there was the left lane. Deathwalker, though, right beside Callus. A lot of return fire, though. BigManTingz still sticking around.
Nika gonna get portaled up and won't find the other half of it. Wlfy, however, jumped on, and there's the laser beam coming out from BMT. Ultimate not available.
There's the flames versus the breath that I was talking about.
You got it. The unstable, the unstoppable force. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Nika just backed off. He's like, whoa.
All right.
Not the god of war. Whoa.
Fight fire with fire?
That's true. But is it really fire from the ghastly breath? He is the Hound of Hell, so maybe.
Yeah, I think it's, you ever see the Disney Hercules?
Yeah, but it's been so long.
But Hades has like purple or blue like fire hair.
Do we really trust Disney to be the correct representation of Hades, though?
Sure. But my point is that, like, you know, looking at that world, like, you can get like purple fire.
Okay.
Remember our picks and ban screen from week 1?
True.
There's plenty of purple fire.
It was
there.
lit.
There you go. So fighting fire with fire is Mousesports right here. Down about 2,000 gold in 16 minutes. So we'll see if this one will pick up, because this is a great call. Rival all over the map and just falling asleep. That Gold Fury, very important for Mousesports. That's going to bring them up within 1,000 gold of Team Rival, which is essentially a tie game here in Season 5.
Vision control is all that matters when controlling objectives. Yeah, you got the vision. Means the enemy team can't really see you. Make sure you have that Sentry Ward lined up, and having BigManTingz lined up is Deathwalker.
Ooh, I thought Wlfy was going to find the Raw player, but instead it's iceicebaby that does the dirty work. Coming through, it's Wlfy looking for a different angle, but the Camazotz, oh, Cherryo misses! Cherryo not going to be on the good side. Deathwalker takes care of Nika.
2 for nothing thus far. Cherryo forced to go into the sky just to disengage. Not too much damage coming out of Mousesports, and honestly, it was a numbers advantage for Mousesports for the longest time, up until the through space and time allowed Rival that momentum to get there. And man, BigManTingz just left alone was not a good look. He used both of his relics and still couldn't get assistance in time.
And that whole fight was a 4-on-5 because Vote was doing the Pyromancer. Dardez transforms right here. Chained, flamed, and gone.
Rival are actually doing Fire Giant while fighting at the same time. They had the aggro and they're shooting outside the ring. Deathwalker gonna get stunned out, but a nice blink from iceicebaby. Under the tier 1 tower now, Jermain will be safe, and with this Fire Giant buff, Rival looking to get some towers.
Take the Giant, take the fight at the same damn time. Team Rival just dancing around Mousesports right now. 7-2. Tier 2 tower in the mid lane gone. Nika tosses the ultimate.
Nice
That's actually bad for Callus. BigManTingz takes him out, but that was after Vote did the dirty work and took care of Nika.
That's the kind of setup you're really looking for with BigManTingz there. Just line him up there. Unfortunately, Nika did have to sacrifice his life for it, but now Callus will be in the graveyard without the Fire Giant buff. Definitely would have been more tempting to try to go for somebody that has more of an impact with that buff, but that's going to stop the push for the moment.
You know what I really, really like about Team Rival that is identifiable after this many weeks, totally? They do more with a smaller lead than any other team. We see these teams get the 6,000-7,000 gold lead and just casually farm and slowly build it up to 10. Rival will just siege you with that 5-6.
The thing is, yes, Rival are getting a slow goalie, but at the same time that they had about that 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead maybe about 4 minutes ago. They were also up about 5,000 experience, so they're banking on more of the difference of farming, their level advantages, which escalates them to that bigger gold foundation that they build off of.
And that's what's allowed Team Rama to be so successful throughout the years. Just continuing with that, and again, watching those plays where they split 4 and 1, there's communication there, but there's something to be said about how long these guys have been together, especially when it comes down to how clean the team fights are. Totally, you played on a team with a long time roster. You get to that point where some things don't need to be communicated.
It's very true. Just some of the starts that you have to know. If you have the inferior composition versus the superior, what is your course of action? Are you going to be aggressive in one lane or defensive on the other? And Rival got to figure out on several fronts.
Kala's trolling Wlfy there real quick, making him tank the tower. And make no bones about it, that's exactly what that was. You know that's what that was.
It's like, I'm taking. Backstep.
Oops. Wlfy and the boys having some fun here, as deserved. I mean, this is Team Rival has been slowly but surely reaching this point. And we mentioned how Cyclone was just bad, and then slowly but surely we watched their lands go up and up and up, and now they're in the position they're in right now. Oh, Collis went through the portal in the ultimate. He didn't grab anybody though. Mousesports trying to play defense on this left side. Phoenix, Deathwalker, and Ice pushing up on the front. On the back is Vote just going to work. 143 per basic on this Phoenix, but still, Mousesports able to push out.
They're holding for now. Cherryo taking a lot of damage in return as Deathwalker is tanking the Phoenix. Takes a lot of damage from a lot of abilities, but so is Dardez.
Oh, wow. Just blown up. Collis is going to fall here. Jermain finds a kill. He's going to be good there. Up to the sky goes Vote. 1 shot and 2 shot gets BigManTingz from the sky. Nice stuff from Vote. Again.
The slice and dice slow helping out the Ram. Snipes even be more accurate. Vote credited with that kill. 5-1-1, looking so solid here on this Ram in game number 2.
It's been a long time since Vote has been the focal point for Team Rival. And I think he's just saying something we can't understand. But I think he's saying that it's about damn time. Everybody's loving on Deathwalker all the time. Wlfy's been getting a lot of love lately because of the mage position. And Vote, you know, this is really interesting. The meta right now, Hunters are bad. Everybody's screaming, Hunters are bad.
They're all good.
Vote's carrying this.
They're all good, but Mousesports are not looking good here, trying to defend their tier 2 tower, but defending for the moment here because Callus is not in the thick of things quite yet. Making the rotation faster was Dardez from his fountain. So it will be a defense for the moment, holding on to that 1,500 gold, preventing it for a rival's cause.
Yeah, Vote's just sitting here showing everybody that they were wrong about Hunters. That's really what I'm getting here, is that Vote's coming out, playing the Hunters, and like I said, I mean, he's half of his team's kills. He's way up there in the conversation for controlling this game.
When discussing who's going to be doing good for Rival, you might as well just get a dartboard and throw it randomly and just have some names attached and see where it kind of lands, because at any given moment, any one of those players can pop off, and even several of them at the same time. Like you were talking about before, they have so much fun playing together. Even when they're in the heat of an SPL battle, just Callus backstepping under the tier 1 tower, realizing like they're not contesting it anyway. What's one tower shot gonna do to my Hunter?
Deathwalker was talking about that in his interview the other day, saying like, you know, me and the boys, we just have fun. I think that's so important if you want to play at this level. Team Rival, really, these guys are a family at this point, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Mousesports feeling really confident to kind of step up on the Fire Giant side. Deathwalker's like, all right, step up, Cherryo. Taking about 25% of your health now.
Level 16 for
See you
Cherryo.
in like 30 seconds when you go heal.
Yeah. Ouch. That Camazotz. Not doing it so far. Team Rival pick up the Pyromancer. And the Hunter will start the Fire Giant. Mousesports not interested in playing D. Fire Giant will go down. Nice and easy.
It's because of the dual lane. Making the rotation was Jermain. He had to deal with 2 waves of fire minions. Just clear out the first one, having to deal with 5 more archers right there. Scary stuff if you let 2 fire minion waves enter your throne room.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
It's almost GG.
yeah. I mean,
Scary stuff.
if you don't, like, if nobody's there to really take care of the waves over there on the left-hand side, I mean, if they don't kill those fire archers.
I mean, if the Titan falls to fire minions and there's no one around to hear it, does it even make a sound?
Yes, because the game ends. I get where you were going, but not with the Titan. It just, the game ends and you can't do anything else. So
Fair enough.
So yes, Tony. I respect it though. I saw where you were going. But the firemen, I mean,
They're serious business, man.
that's actually that's the fun of the mechanic, and I think we see a lot of that specifically when teams are going for the objectives. Is that's why part of the reason why we see teams go for the leftmost Phoenix most of the time. It's furthest away from the fire giant, so it's harder to defend that Phoenix and then run over and defend the fire giant.
Especially when you don't have teleport, when you don't have anyone with global presence, you rely on somebody that has a lot of mobility. Jermain with Wing Blade and Accelerate is your most agile god on Mousesports' side of the field.
Who's also got enough farm to get that power pot. And this is where Chronos gets really scary. So Mousesports do have a heavy carry on their side. Kalas trying to make the play. They're trying to do that over and over again. They're setting up the portal so that Kalas ults people and brings them through the portal. What an idea.
And also just gives him more defensive options to get away into safety. He forced a lot of defensive relics and ultimates there. Once he engaged, they're forcing the ultimate from Nika. That's a win-win because now if Nika blinks in without Stygian Torment, he's only going to be relying on the breath and the spit.
Deathwalker getting screeched at. Vote to the sky. Team Rival look like they're going all in here. 2 Phoenixes already down for Mousesports. Now looking at the right side. Kalas up in the front trying to get the chains on. Nika going to be all in trouble. Half HP on the big dog. And Team Rival seeping into the throne room.
Almost finding the kill onto Nika there. Had to get shelled on the side of Dardez. Throne room is completely exposed and vulnerable. Rival are going in.
Deathwalker makes a big play and sets up Vote and Kalas. The duo lane just still going. Vote with the Nubleun, and Wlfy's going to find one for himself as well. Cherryo lands. Cherryo dies. Titan down. 26 minutes. Rival win over Mouse.
15-4. Rival, they win not only against Mousesports here, but also against SK earlier on in the day, getting themselves 2 set victories.
Definitely an easy day for Rival here, but grabbing those wins, very, very important. It's going to really shake up the European standings.
That's very true. I think actually now with the 2nd set victory, with also Energy winning their previous one, they're tied in the record department in terms of sets, but Rival have that head-to-head, I believe, over Energy, so they're going to be right ahead.
Well, absolutely. Let us know who you think the most valuable player on the squad was. Vote really stood out for me. How about you?
I think Vote definitely played a part into it, but more importantly, Kalas, man, the chain. I think if there was a set MVP, it would have to be Kalas. He set up Vote in the first game and helped them succeed in game number 2.
Very, very true. We'll see if the desk agrees. It's Finch and the Gambler.
I do agree. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Toli. Finch here. And I do also have the Savage Gambler right here next to me. I don't even know any other name to call him. Just the Savage Gambler is who it is. But Rival 2-0 up against Mouse and look good doing it. They finally picked a Guardian, but still not able to get it.
I mean, with how that game went, though, for the first 12, 13 minutes of the game, go back to what you actually saw there. Like, they actually did compete. Mouse were actually in that game and fighting well. It's good to see him on a Guardian. I don't think that was the reason they lost that game. I don't think it was the reason they lost that game dramatically by not being on a Guardian. I do think maybe the Camazotz in the jungle, they could have looked for a different pick there, Finch,
sure,
which could have brought a little bit more to the table for them. Their job in that game, the whole composition Mouse kind of drafted there was survive and turn it around with sustain. Didn't work out for them, though. There was no let up from Rival.
Yeah, to me that kind of came down to that one play. I agree that they weren't able to, or rather maybe the jungle could be a problem, but they steal the Gold Fury. Things look great for them, but then the great response from Rival, they have that big fight deep in the enemy jungle. Then they take the Fire Giant. They even fight on the Fire Giant itself. So that play is what really turned it around from them, but sounds like everyone in chat agrees with Toli. Kalas is going to be the MVP.
He gets it 2 times in a row. This Ares could start to disappear soon. I think we'll see a little bit less Ares in the Pro League as people start to ban it out. I don't think we'll see it selected in the first 3 picks too often.
Sure.
But we definitely will see it selected after that. As in, like, in the Caliban phase, so probably need to do some Calibans towards these Ares going forward. Specifically to Callus's, there's a lot of pros in EU that play Ares. He's not as much of an NA god. He's definitely an EU god.
Yeah, and Chronos is playing it to an excellent level here for his team. You can see him hitting those chains, even taking tower shots for his team. But the problem is you can ban the Ares away, but Chronos plays everything well. It's kind of just he's just feeling Ares right now. It's kind of what it is, so he's playing it.
Yeah, and he's working out. I mean, a lot of people factor in Cripple, really important. Cripple locks down mobility. What's important in Season 5 that everyone has run towards? Mobility being a factor. So getting Cripple to counteract all that mobility on a team really shuts them down.
That is what ended up happening there. That Cripple looked strong. But let's go ahead and take a look at those standings now that all the games for today have shaken
Rival
down.
top?
Rival
Oh,
are
no.
right up there near the top, right next to Energy.
Dun, dun, dun. The trio continue their battles amongst themselves. Energy versus Rivals are one I'm definitely going to be looking forward to in the coming weeks because that'll be a very interesting one. There's a very high chance, though, that we're even with those three teams by the end of the season.
Well, that's the rematch between the two teams that were at HRX. So, I mean, it's very right to be one to interested in that fight. But Dignitas are right there with them. If they had been able to show up at LAN, I'm sure they would have had an impressive performance too. But
Precisely.
they just didn't quite make it in that one LAN event. But don't worry, we got plenty of SPL coming for you tomorrow as well.
do.
It's going to be the North American side of things. Another big day. It'll be EU United up against Splice. But the real match that you got to make sure you're seeing, EU up against CLG.
Yeah, definitely a big one at the end of the day there. Although Splice is always one to be talking about, and then you can't forget LG. You know, everyone been sleeping on them. They came out of the blocks a lot stronger than a lot of people expected. We'll see if they can try and continue that this week.
They got that big win early up against EU United, and everyone's kind of been looking for them to bounce back from that. So let's see if they can keep that momentum going. But that is going to do it here for us with the EU SPL.
Already?
Make sure that Graham, that's it.
Wow.
We made it. There was a lot of clean sets today.
Yeah, it was nice, quick, and to the point.
A lot of clean sets, but there's plenty more SPL action tomorrow in A. That's going to be 5 p.m. Mixer.com/SmiteGame. So check it out then, and we'll see you later.